I promised you guys that there would be another compressor that you could use or maybe want to turn to in the music making process. And that compressor is called the FR Comp 87. And so with this one, we have very easy controls. We have a peak limiter at the top. So if you really drive the makeup gain, you can go into that peak limiter. And then after that, you'd want to go through and turn things down with like a Blue Cat or a tool device. But this is a very simple compressor. It gives you a fast, medium, and slow attack time. Doesn't tell you what those times are, but maybe it's like 3 milliseconds, 20 milliseconds, and 40 milliseconds. And then you get a fast, medium, and slow release time. And again, maybe that means 30 milliseconds, 150 milliseconds, and 300 milliseconds. I don't really know. But the point is, if you understand the concept behind compression and you're a little bit confused and scared about turning the attack and release knobs yourself, this is a great compressor to kind of bridge the gap. But you got to make sure that it fits the source material. So I'm going to use this compressor on the piano part that we had before. I'm going to use it on a single hit of a drum, and then I'm going to use it on that drum loop. And we're going to kind of discuss and figure out, is this compressor really working? Is it doing what I want it to do, or should I go with something else? So with the piano part, again, I want to try and just level this performance out. So I know I'm going to need a fast attack time, and then I'm probably going to want a medium or a slow release. As we're playing this back, we'll see if we can figure that out a little bit. So let's put the loop on and get to work with this compressor. And once this light comes on, that's when we know we're getting gain reduction. Try medium or fast. Yeah, definitely not fast. Let's go through one more time. So with this compressor, one thing that I'm actually noticing from working with it is that it's going to take a decent amount of time to fine tune the controls to get things just right, because I know that this fast attack time should work, but if I pull the threshold down too far, it's actually letting some of the initial transient sneak through, and that's exactly what I don't want. So I like the way this sounds, but you got to really spend some time and get it to work. So I think that this compressor would work fine on this piano part, and it might work just as well as the other compressor we had looked at before, the TDR Nova, I think it's called. So you could experiment. Maybe this works, maybe it doesn't. Let's try it on the electro kick sample. So in this case, I have a feeling like this may not work, and I'd probably want to use like a transient designer or something, because I don't think that this is going to be fast enough. So let's try it with like fast and medium settings and hear what we can get. So let's say I'm trying to bring down that transient. You hear that transient still sneaking through even on fast? So maybe we'll have to use this to enhance the transient a little more. We'll try medium and medium. And then maybe not as much. All right, this might work, but I think I'd be more apt to go in and actually use the transient designer or actually shape the envelope myself using clip gain. So for me, this wouldn't be a time when I'd use this compressor. If I was going to use that, I'd have to get lucky. Maybe this would be a good time to try and use that limiter, like push it into the limiter, really get some gain. So when this yellow light comes on here, that means that the peak limiter is being engaged. And then after that, I could always go back in and use something like the Blue Cat gain and just turn this down a little bit to give myself some headroom for any additional processing. Yeah, Not really digging this one that much on this particular kick drum sound. And last but not least, we can try it out here on this drum loop. And I have a feeling that if I get the settings right here, this should sound pretty good, even if it's already gone through some compression before. So let's see what we can come up with here. So with this compression, we should be getting a little more bounce and movement to it because we have that medium attack time. So it's going to let some of the transient through, and then it's coming back pretty quickly. We can try fast, see if it's too quick or if it's going to work. So if I want to add a little bit more bounce into that drum loop, using the settings like a slow attack and a fast release might work really well. So a lot of this has to do with experience, and a lot of it has to do with practice. If you understand the basic concepts, you should be able to figure it out, but it will take time. And attack and release, it can be kind of confusing unless you know what you want to do with it. So if I listen to that drum beat and I'm telling myself, I want a little more bounce into that drum beat, I actually want to hear the compression going in and out, then I would pull something like this FR Comp 87 and put the settings to where they're at now, and I think it works quite well for that.